Welcome to another one of these breakdowns where we go through different attributes of the fighters and compare them by giving it marks out of 10, and then at the end we try and predict who is more likely to win and how. The first thing that I'm going to be talking about is striking. Justin Gaethje, as we all know, is an elite level striker. He likes to get in his opponent's face, push them up against the fence and throw down. He just unleashes every sort of punch from hooks to uppercuts, and one of them more often than not lands. The highlight usually needs one punch to knock his opponent's lights out, unless that opponent is Tony Ferguson. One more aspect of Justin Gaethje's striking which has the potential to be crucial in this fight is his leg kicks. Anyone who tries to shoot for a takedown needs his legs to be in proper condition, especially the lead leg. Therefore, if Justin Gaethje is able to chop down Khabib's legs in this fight, it is going to create all sorts of problems for Khabib. The Justin Gaethje before the Tony Ferguson fight had an awesome offense, but his defense was questionable. That Justin Gaethje would throw down and would gladly take 4 shots to land 5. I mean, the guy has the record of almost 8 significant strikes landed per minute, but this version of Justin Gaethje fights a lot smarter while keeping his output almost the same. So now he lands 5 and absorbs just 1, which makes him a lot more dangerous than he previously was. Previously, the guy would plant his feet and throw down. Now he utilizes his much improved footwork and head movement and tries to counter his opponent's strikes. Previously, when Justin would land a punch, his head and body would be there to hit back. Now he lands a punch and either moves his head away from the center line or uses his footwork to run circles around his opponents. Previously, Justin would not step back from a brawl even when he was getting hit. Now he has no problem stepping back and taking a moment or two to control the pace of the fight, which shows he has learned to fight a lot smarter. Justin Gaethje doesn't just land 8 significant strikes per minute, but he does it with almost 60% accuracy, which means when he throws he usually lands, and not many people can take 8 shots per minute from Justin Gaethje, which is why his striking offense gets 8.5 out of 10, his much improved striking defense gets 8 out of 10, and his footwork and head movement both get 7.5 out of 10. Now let's talk about Khabib's striking offense, defense, his footwork and head movement. Khabib utilizes his jab very well. He has a good overhand right and that lunging uppercut that he usually throws. The fact that Khabib lands these strikes on elite level strikers is not because he's a good pure striker. If Khabib were to get in a kickboxing match against Conor, Dustin Barboza or even Michael Johnson, there is a high probability that he will lose that match. The reason his striking is so effective at times is because of his wrestling. When Khabib takes his opponents down and when they feel the pressure and that suffocating feeling when they are under Khabib, they do not want to experience it again, which is why all of his opponents start thinking about defending the takedowns. Therefore, they start dropping their hands, which leaves them vulnerable to getting clipped. They usually forget that Khabib has hands too and can land a punch, which is why Khabib was able to land that overhand right on Conor, because Conor was so fixated on trying to defend the takedowns that he forgot about Khabib's punches. One more thing that Khabib does intelligently is the way he sets up those punches. Before landing his overhand right or that lunging uppercut, he kinda dips and threatens a takedown, which makes his opponents lower their guards, leaving them vulnerable to a clean head strike. Now coming towards the footwork of Khabib, Khabib uses his footwork mostly to push people against the fence because it is there that he does his most brilliant work. We haven't seen much of Khabib's head movement because he's such an elite level wrestler that most of his opponents do not get to stand and bang with him for more than 20 seconds. But the times we have seen Khabib standing and trying to trade with his opponents, he got hurt, like in the Dustin Poirier and Michael Johnson fight. Therefore, his striking offense gets 6.5 out of 10 and his head movement, footwork and striking all get 6 out of 10. We all know Khabib is the most dominant wrestler the UFC has ever seen. The guy just takes you down and smashes you. Khabib has won not just all of his fights but almost all of the rounds as well, except that third round against Conor. And that is because of his much superior ground game. The reason why Khabib is so successful in taking his opponents down is his constant pressure. He has a takedown accuracy of only 47% but lands almost 6 takedowns per 15 minutes, which means that his opponents usually defend the first 1 or 2 takedown attempts, but Khabib is so relentless that he eventually takes them down, and once his opponent is on the ground, he goes to work and beat the crap out of them. The way he distributes his weight is unparalleled. and we all heard Dustin Poirier say, "I can't get this guy off me." Khabib just suffocates his opponents not just with his weight distribution but by controlling his opponent's hands as well, all this while ground and pounding them. Also, he does all of this against the fence, which means his opponents have nowhere to go. On the ground, Khabib's opponents have two choices, either to be ground and pounded or give their backs while trying to get up, which usually results in them being rear naked choked, which is why the ground game of Khabib gets 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna maul him, like always.
Now let's talk about Justin Gaethje's ground game. Justin Gaethje is a former two-time Arizona State champion and an NCAA Division I All-American, which means he's not a slouch on the ground either. And this is exactly why Justin Gaethje poses a far greater threat to Khabib's reign than any of his previous opponents, because all of them were strikers and none of them were grapplers. With that said, we haven't seen much wrestling from Justin Gaethje in the UFC. He uses his wrestling to keep the fight standing, which is understandable because the guy is really good on his feet and packs knockout power in both his hands. Not to mention, he prefers a brawl and wants to be the most violent man in the most violent sport. But if there is any fight where Justin Gaethje would need to call upon his wrestling, it is this fight, and it would be interesting to see if Justin Gaethje's 80% takedown defense holds up against Khabib. Justin Gaethje is not just hard to take down, but also hard to keep down, because the times he was taken down, he got up really quickly, and it is these scrambles that should serve Justin well in this fight. But one thing is for sure, he won't be a fish out of water on the ground against Khabib like Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, or Edson Barboza. Therefore, the ground game of Justin Gaethje gets 8.5 out of 10. The game changer in this fight and Justin Gaethje's most crucial weapon in his arsenal is his knockout power. Justin Gaethje is the hardest hitting lightweight in the UFC right now and has knockout power in both his hands. He usually needs only one punch to knock his opponent's lights out, unless that opponent is Tony Ferguson, which is why he gets 9 out of 10 for his knockout power. Khabib has also shown on a few occasions that he can rock people if his punch lands clean. He doesn't possess the knockout power of Justin Gaethje, but then again, not many fighters do, which is why Khabib gets 7 out of 10 for his knockout power. Justin Gaethje has been technically knocked out twice, once by Eddie Alvarez and the other one was by Dustin Poirier, and both times it wasn't because of Justin's chin not holding up, it was mostly because Justin getting tired by swinging for 4 straight rounds. Also, the way Justin Gaethje fights, he should have been knocked out a lot more times than he has, and if it weren't for his solid chin, he would have. The fact that he likes to get into brawls is because he trusts his chin, and so do I, which is why he gets 8 out of 10 for his chin. Khabib's chin, on the other hand, hasn't been tested much because he's so dominant and doesn't let his opponents hit him back. But the times his opponents were able to land clean, he was hurt. For example, when Dustin Poirier landed on Khabib, Khabib was clearly hurt and got on his bike. But I'll give Khabib the benefit of the doubt and give his chin 7 out of 10. As I always say, a fighter's cardio is his most important tool. It doesn't matter if you have got the knockout power of Justin Gaethje, the speed of Edson Barboza, and the boxing of Dustin Poirier if you get tired in about 2 minutes. Khabib's cardio is off the charts because he to wrestle and attempt takedown after takedown needs a lot of cardio, especially if one wants to do it for 25 minutes. And Khabib has shown he has the cardio to keep doing what he does for 25 minutes, which is why he gets 9.5 out of 10 for his cardio. Justin Gaethje is no slouch in the cardio department either. He did gas out in his fight against Alvarez and Poirier, but that was mostly because of his fighting style. To keep swinging for 4 straight rounds, one is bound to gas out. But if he fights intelligently like he did against Tony Ferguson, he can go for 7 rounds if need be, which is why Justin Gaethje gets 8 out of 10 for his cardio and conditioning. It doesn't take a genius to predict if Justin is able to keep the fight standing, he will be able to knock Khabib out. But if Khabib is able to take him down and impose his will, then it will be another dominant Khabib win. So what will happen? I will go for a bold prediction and say that Justin Gaethje will knock out Khabib. And I know I'll look real stupid if Khabib dominates Justin Gaethje, but I'm willing to take this risk. I feel like Justin Gaethje will catch Khabib with a knee or an uppercut as he attempts a takedown, or when Khabib is trying to attempt that lunging uppercut that he does, he overreaches while doing that, and Justin Gaethje is too good of a striker not to capitalize on that, and I think Justin Gaethje might just catch him with an uppercut or a knee and just knock him out. Before that Tony Ferguson fight, I felt like Justin might just pull this off, and he did. And something is again telling me that Justin is gonna win this one. Justin Gaethje is either gonna come out guns blazing and knock Khabib out in the first round, or he might start slow and work his way to a knockout in the third or fourth round. Either way, I see a new champion at the end of the night. Man, I look stupid. I look like a clown if the opposite happens. But this is the fun of predictions. And if I'm going to make a prediction, I'm going to make a bold one, and we'll see a new champion at the end of the night. And that champion would be Justin Gaethje. And then on the 23rd of January, Dustin Poirier will beat Conor McGregor. And then Dustin Poirier will get another shot against Justin Gaethje, this time for the light heavyweight title. And then Dustin Poirier will win the light heavyweight championship and become the light heavyweight champion, the undisputed light heavyweight champion. In case you don't know, I love Dustin Poirier. He's my favorite fighter, and I'm always rooting for him. He's my favorite lightweight, and not just lightweight, my favorite fighter in any division. So yeah, I'm predicting all this stuff, and I feel like this is gonna happen.